Hi everyone, welcome along to today's session of Data Insight Action. This series from LeisureNet Solutions is looking at specific data or specific research that's been conducted in the industry, and then the aim of this is to share this with the wider industry and really look at how we can take a piece of data and turn it into actionable insights. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Nish, Director of Imin. So thank you, Nish. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. Nish, we did a bit of work together a couple of months ago now, looking at the ease of booking for non-members specifically into various operations. So we're going to look at that data in further detail today. Now, the research that we conducted was via our consumer insight panel, which gives us access to 62,000 respondents within the UK. And then we were able to drill down to quite a niche demographic, really, given what we wanted to explore in terms of the data set and understand the barriers that people face when they are trying to attend and book certain facilities. So Nish, with that in mind, can you just give us a bit more background as to why you reached out to us to support you with this, please?
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, there's two bits of that, which is the need we saw in the sector, but also the great service that you guys provide with your survey. So first bit first, which was so a lot of the work we do here at Imin is working with activity providers of all shapes and sizes to help them get more participants in to their activities, and generally that's through greater data sharing, and that in turn makes it easier for people to discover activities that are happening. But with the bigger leisure operators or leisure centres, be that sort of single site or national multi-site, we found that a lot of the emphasis from leisure operators is really put on one of two routes, which is let's make sure people download our app, go from there, or let's make sure people buy a membership. Those seem to be the main two aspects of most of the digital journeys. Not all, but most. And I can see why. That makes a lot of sense. We want people to be our customer. So we want them to have our app because then they're in our ecosystem and we can push them notifications, all the rest of it. Or probably the main thing, we want them to buy a membership of some type, some sort of long-term, medium to long-term commitment to return use the facilities. But what that missed was this other group of people that wasn't yet ready to buy a membership, but was interested in being active in some way, that didn't really have a journey that was catering for them. So we had an intuition that those potential customers were facing barriers because they didn't want to join yet. So they didn't want to go through that journey, even to create an account in the first place with the leisure management system that might be in place. And they didn't want to download another app just to book one thing, because we all know how many apps we have on our phone that we don't use. And so it was those customers that we didn't think were being served particularly well, and probably those customers that had the biggest potential to become those long-term paying customers. So that's why we reached out to LeisureNet to say, actually, if you guys have the tools to identify that group of potential customers, can we ask them some questions about their experiences of accessing leisure, and how they found that, what puts them off, what they need to see. And that was really kind of how this research came about.
And it was really interesting, wasn't it, in terms of the amount of times people would try a facility before they did commit to membership. So you're absolutely right in terms of identifying this group, in our population that want to be active but want to discover more and try it. So in terms of the data that you got from the consumer insight panel, how are you now using this, Nish, in terms of your overall strategy in supporting more operators reach this population?
Well, I think the first thing we're doing is helping operators understand that this population exists, that is served, and to think about them as the target market. And so what the data showed us was, as you said, the vast majority of people need to try out a leisure facility several times before they're willing to commit to a long-term membership. I think only 1 in 10 or whatever it was, something like that, were ready to buy a gym membership. And these are probably people that are already active, have come from somewhere else, are switching gym. They don't need to be sold on activity. They just need to choose the right facility. Fine. So they're the kind of people that will respond to a join now for this discount or for this price. But this group of other potential customers, we need to get into the facility first, enough times that they feel comfortable that there's the right activity, that the right facilities are there, that the right, whatever it is that they need to see before they go on to buy a long-term membership. And they may not ever buy a long-term membership, but at least they're coming in semi-regularly. And so that was one thing, which is we need people to come 2 or more times, the majority of people, before they want to buy a membership. And the other really important thing we learned from the study was that almost half of non-members, so people that haven't been a paying member of the gym for the last year, almost half of those people are put off from booking an activity because of the need to either download an app or create an account, or both. And given that that's the majority of ways people can book at a leisure facility, you've got the barrier of I want to come a few times before I want to commit, but I can't come the first time or the second time because actually I don't want to download an app or create an account to even get there in the first place. So helping operators see that these two barriers exist and actually potentially they're quite easy to solve was the main thing we want to do. It's mainly about awareness and education of this potential user journey that's not supported yet.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's great that you guys are looking at this. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because you mentioned earlier, the ecosystems that, so many operators have, and, these processes are put in place to, streamline the experience and, help operators become more accessible, but actually in doing so without, perhaps knowingly realizing this and putting that barrier up in place. So Nish, if operators do want to reach out and find out a bit more, what do those sort of steps look like? How can you share this data with more people?
It's a really good question. We have ambitions to write out some sort of case study eventually, but they can reach out to me. I think my email will be at the end of the there we go, as on cue. And we can talk through the study and the numbers and the kind of users that we're talking about that I think could be really impactful for a lot of operators. And then also some of the ways that other operators are addressing this user journey. And it can be as easy as rejigging the website so that some of this information is upfront and not sort of after a few clicks. We don't want people to scramble around for the information they want. We want it there and there. Almost as simple as imagine you don't have a smartphone to download an app, but you do have internet access. How would you rearrange your website for those people that don't want to create an account and can't download an app? All the way through to some more innovative stuff like chatbots, putting something on the website that allows someone to say, I want to do this today, giving them a book button there and then. They can do it from within their phone and book. And they're now your customer. You have them, they're coming for a swim, you can upsell them. So seeing that range of possible solutions is really interesting, I think, for most operators to just at least consider. And so we'd be happy to sort of talk through the research as well as some of those options and then see where we can take it from there.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much for sharing that with us today, Nish. I mean, your contact details are here. Obviously, you'll be joining us at ActiveNet on the 29th and 30th of March in Nottingham, which we're very excited about. So I look forward to catching up with you then, if not before, and look forward to working with you on this case study. And we can certainly share some highlights from that as that progresses. So thanks again for your time today, Nish.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks.